So you're going to be taking on the Punisher, which
Yeah,
oh man, I am so psyched about. I mean, we had an opportunity to talk a little bit at Comic-Con about it. So I do know a few things already, but man, hearing you talk about the series is just, it makes me so excited for it. For anyone out there who hasn't read the most recent Jason Aaron run, spoilers ahead, that ends with Frank Castle being Dunzo's. He is, I mean, no one in comics has ever gone, so who knows what's going to happen. But so then that opened the door for you to take over Punisher, and you are bringing not only a new Punisher to the universe, but a brand new character to the Marvel universe. So can you tell the people at home a little bit about that? Who is this new
yeah.
Punisher?
Yeah, so yeah, our new Punisher, he's a brand new character. He's a former Shield Wetworks agent by the name of Joe Garrison. And Joe basically he hung up his spurs to pursue the call of family. And the problem is that someone just blew up his house with his family still in it. And because his record has been completely redacted, the authorities just think we can't find the husband. We need to bring in the husband. The husband is our prime suspect. And so I pitched this book as a John Wick meets The Fugitive, and that our first arc is going to be Joe's origin story as this new Punisher, trying to figure out like who set him up and why. And sort of figuring out kind of what's the bigger what's the bigger threat going on underneath the surface. And it's so funny. I a lot of people were speculating like, oh, is it going to be, this character or this character or this character? And I think, the reason we're doing a brand new character is because, just like the way that Danny Ketch wasn't somebody before he became Ghost Rider,
Mm.
or that Robbie Reyes wasn't somebody before he became the other Ghost Rider, or that Sam Alexander wasn't anybody before he became the new Nova, or Miles Morales, or Kamala Khan, or I think if you want to have a legacy hero that actually can stand on their own 2 feet, that isn't just a short term, you know, a short term replacement,
Mhm.
it's got to be a new character. And for me, there was a lot of thinking that kind of went into it, because the Punisher, like, of course, there's a lot of political discourse around the character. I think it makes
Mhm.
perfect sense, of just like, how do you responsibly tell a story with that kind of character in the year 2023,
Mhm.
year 2024, and for me, I'm not there. I know there's been speculation of like, oh, the Punisher's not going to have like guns or anything. No, he's got guns. Like, he's got guns. He's
Yeah.
got bullets. Like I promise you, don't worry about that sort of stuff. We light somebody on fire in the first issue. Like, it's fine. But I think for me, it's uh, it's I how people talk about Batman as like an aspirational character.
Mhm.
That's maybe a thing that I am kind of trying to pivot away from as far as Punisher is concerned. I don't want anybody to feel like they can walk into like a Walmart, and walk
Mhm.
out as the Punisher, like that.
Mhm.
That's that I think is the reason why I really wanted to use some heightened weaponry, some shield weaponry, but also it just gives us some cool little extra avenues that we can do, of just like, it's if Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible became John Wick,
Mhm.
is that we're able to kind of throw in a little bit of heightened gadgetry, just to let our Punisher do cool stuff.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think we're doing some fun stuff with Joe. I think the way that I had discussed it with Marvel is, the Danny Ketch to Frank's Johnny Blaze. But I think in my mind, I was thinking a lot of also, the way that like Cassandra Cain was a foil to Bruce Wayne.
Mhm.
And that like, um, particularly the way that Cassandra moves in any particular scene. Like, that she's not superhuman, but she almost might as well be, because she's so fast and precise and coordinated. And that was kind of the way that I felt that Joe could stand out
Mhm.
as our Punisher, is that he's not the guy, like, of course he's got guns and he's got weapons, but that's not really all he's about. It's about the gun fu. of it
Mm-hmm.
all. It's about the choreography. It's about, if you've ever watched a John Wick movie, like this is a guy who like, it's not just a guy who's like going in guns blazing. It's not a guy who's just walking in with a shotgun. This is a guy who, 10 people rush him at once and he's sort of darting and dodging between all
Mm-hmm.
of them, taking them out one by one by one. And it almost looks like this kind of like beautiful, scary choreography of death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's some kind of the way that we've been approaching Joe. Um, um, but yeah, at the same time, we're trying to tell these stories that, we're not looking to sacrifice any of the intensity, any of the attitude. Like I'm a fan of the Punisher. I pitched Frank for Savage Avengers. And that's how I found out that he was going to be doing stuff with the Hand and his own journey. I pitched Rachel Cole Alves, wasn't able to fit her into the roster. I eventually got Punisher
I
2099
was gonna say
in
you
a
technically did
deal.
write Punisher.
And that handling of that character is what got me this gig.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's really cool stories that can be told with the Punisher. I think another interesting thing about Joe as a character, and hopefully it's not spoiling too much, but when you first meet Frank Castle in the pages of Amazing Spider-Man, like this is his first appearance, but this is not his first rodeo as the Punisher. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's been kind of marinating in this for a while. And he's already like racked up body count by the time that we meet him. And that's the cool thing about Joe is that like we're really joining him like in the immediate aftermath of all this.
Mm-hmm.
His origin is very much about finding answers about what happened to his family. And I think that's a cool way to kind of get to know a character from the ground up. And also to kind of find new angles and avenues to evolve the Punisher's mission.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think we the way that I've sort of envisioned him is that, I think it was Jerry Conway who talked about the Punisher being an indictment of society. That like a society that needs a Punisher, that requires a Punisher, like, there's something wrong. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it was a coincidence that Frank Castle debuted the same year as the movie Death Wish. His miniseries came out on the heels of the Bernard Goetz trials. That his popularity surged during the Reagan years and the war on drugs. And I think this is a really cool and unique opportunity to revisit what does the Punisher's mission mean
Mm-hmm.
in today's society. I don't, I don't see this as a political as a political punching up or punching down. I see it as just like who's the Punisher fighting for at,
Mm-hmm.
in this sense. And I think there's a way, and I think there's a way in that forward that we can make the Punisher a character that doesn't sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
any of the qualities that have made the Punisher such an enduring character. But like I say, how do we build a bigger table?
Mm-hmm.
How do we invite more people to the table, and in a way that the Punisher doesn't feel like, oh, well, you can only appeal to one group of people, but only at the expense of another group.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we've been really trying to address in this book, is just how do we invite new and returning Punisher fans to the same table and deliver a book that everybody will like. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel really confident in that. And I think a big reason for that is Dave Wachter, the artist on the book. Dave is a powerhouse. It's one of those things. I'm shocked he's not a household name yet. He's done work on Spider-Man 2099. He did an issue of Ghost Rider. He's working on Planet of the Apes right now. He did a run on Ninja Turtles for a while. I was always thinking, this guy got pigeonholed as like an anthropomorphic guy when he draws
Yeah.
humans. But I can tell you, having seen his art coming in, it might be the most beautiful book I've done at Marvel to date.
Oh, that's
Dave is just,
saying something.
he really is leaving it all out in the field, and I think that's the thing is we're both fans of the character. We're both excited to kind of try something different with the
Mhm.
character. And I know anybody who's concerned about like, oh, people hate blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I don't hate the Punisher, and I can tell you that Dave certainly doesn't. We're really Dave inspires me to kind of up my game because
Mhm.
he is really leaving it all out in the field, and I can't wait for readers to get to see how amazing that this
Mhm.
book looks. And Dave is really doing so much of the heavy lifting because, like I said, so much of Joe's appeal is it's the fight. It's how does he move through any sort of situation. And the way that I had described it was, he's got his weapons, but he's also just got the environment around him, and he's going
Mhm.
to use that to kind of improvise very fun and unique ways to kill people. Um, Half the fun of Joe Garrison is you can throw him in an office building or a restaurant or an abandoned factory or anywhere else, and you're going to figure out like, okay, how is he going to use this to fight his way out?
Mhm.
So I'm very excited for readers to see what we have planned for Joe Garrison as the Punisher. And yeah, we've got some real fun stuff ahead of that opening arc as well. I've pitched Tom Brevoort so many villains. And we've discussed some cool stories that speak to the legacy of the Punisher and the history of it all. And yeah, just fun stuff coming.